Can you drop a link in here?
Not in here, you can't. Oh yeah, you can. Can you send it to me on Messenger, Nate? Because I actually have my other screen set up for it. Okay, that'll work.
That works.
We also need to post it on Facebook, and
Oh, I thought Spencer was going to do it on Facebook as well.
he only did it on Discord, looks like, because I was actually just checking that now.
Don't we have like YouTube up for comments or something too?
That's why I was just opening it up over here.
I'm going to have to really squinch this down then.
Squinch it, baby.
Yeah.
Shake it, baby.
These pigs messed up my ride.
Yeah, Zach does the best. What's your dinger?
Duke Nukem.
John St. John.
I'm telling you, if they rebooted Duke Nukem, I think I would have a genuine shot.
Oh, it's on Discord. You don't need to share it. I've got the Kefka theme song stuck in my head.
Yeah, same.
Good.
Would you say that's your favorite piece of music of Final Fantasy? No, this is good.
How'd
Makes me think of the Joker. Yes, he's very Joker-esque.
Zach, how's Crisis?
Sucks. Okay, like, is Crisis on the format for games you're catching up on?
Well, you played it. You might as well.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, throw it on there. I'm done.
I'm just curious. No, we don't have to talk about it. It's just on PS4. It's borderline unfucking playable.
I can believe that.
It's really bad.
I got it to crash once.
It crashed 3 times in the opening cutscene. It crashes regularly after that. The frame rate, I don't think I've ever seen be 30 on PS4.
Whoa.
It's fucking miserable.
Which, to me, I just find that so funny, though. Well, you know, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do that.
Because I've got
throw it on the format. Fuck it. Little nanosuit.
How do I do this where I can see the comments?
Crytek? What'd you say, sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was just asking how to so I can see the comments. The comments are on. Right. I just don't know how to show the comments.
Oh, did you put the link here?
Okay. There. I made a comment.
Hello.
Hello. My name's Chris. No, this is Patrick.
SpongeBob.
This is Patrick. I love Patrick Starfish.
He's pretty ridiculous.
Seriously, can't get the Kefka theme out of my head. I have not watched a lot of SpongeBob.
Dirty Dan.
Why is it that everybody always remembers the Flying Dutchman? Like that's like the one of like maybe 2 episodes of that show I've ever seen, and that's like the most popular one.
Because it's probably the one that it is. Well, don't worry, Captain. We'll buff out those scratches.
I'm ready. Yeah,
right. F is for fun. Wait.
That's like the episode that I always remember. It's for fire that burns down the whole town.
Whoa.
And it's for no survivors.
You guys have watched that a lot more than me. Are we ready to go?
I was going to give it a couple more minutes since the only people in are the three of us.
We should. How early can you make those links available? Like, do you have to do it like right before we start, or can we get it up like a couple hours before we record? Because it'd be cool to like. Oh, okay. No, it'd just be cool to get that out for people if they get a little bit of warning.
I prefer when he doesn't care. That's when he does his best work.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Man, I've got the fun song stuck in my head.
Oh, dude, you can pop out the chat on YouTube. That's
Mhm.
cool.
It's a rock.
I also remember something about pickles. Well, the pickles were in a jar, and now we're in a jar. It's like a pun or something. Isn't that the MOON guy too? MOON. That spells retarded.
What? You can't use the hard R anymore, man.
No, it's like
We're live.
From the
We're
movie.
live.
We're not? Oh, this is for everybody. Oh, I thought
Yep.
this was just for Patreon people.
No. Patreon people get to watch it right now.
No. The well, there's nobody in here.
Yeah.
It was from The Stand. The movie The Stand, the Stephen King's The Stand. The guy that was mentally handicapped that went around saying MOON. That spells hungry. You never saw The Stand?
Nope.
Well, the movie is it was a mini series more than a movie, but the book is really good. I read that last year.
That's Stephen King.
Yep.
Yeah, I read that and it, both in one summer. Both this summer, actually.
It was still a really good book.
The Dark Tower.
Yeah, it's the Dark
By
Tower
Stephen
series.
King.
Well, technically, apparently, like they're all connected, and the Dark Tower is kind of like the spinal cord of all those different universes or whatever. Which I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get over the train bank scene in it.
In it, yeah. It's like it's just so normal, and then when you listen to it too, it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like
describing the endowment of each member of the losers.
Yeah,
it's strange, but that's everything's got their lines for like, oh, I can't associate, like I can't really fuck with Stephen King after that. That's just weird.
What's funny is I knew it was coming because everyone told me about it, and I was like, oh, okay, here we are, here we go. I remember specifically because I was actually running at the Y during that scene, so I'm running around the track listening to a gangbang scene
of 12-year-olds.
Yeah. It was just very odd, especially because they were children.
I also I don't really like him as a writer.
No?
Too much description for me and everything.
Remember, I listened to it versus actually reading it, so maybe there's a difference there. But
I do I want to get into The Dark Tower. It sounds really cool.
I heard that the first book is a slog, though.
It's it's like reading a Tom Clancy book. There's lots of character building.
Dry, you say, Nate? That was my problem when I tried to listen to The Gunslinger. I have the audiobook still. I love the opening sentence. The man in black fled across the desert. The gunslinger followed. Okay.
I think
indeed.
The only Stephen King book that I made it through beginning to end was Hearts in Atlantis.
It's cool. It's a cool name.
It's a good book. The movie was fucking awful.
Wayne's been trying to get me to read it's the date, like 11/23/63 or whatever, the one about
Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, and the time travel and stuff like that.
You know, a Hulu miniseries starring James Franco.
Mm-hmm. I heard the series didn't do the book justice, which is, you know, what every book reader says. But
yes, that's what every person who's read a book who then watched the adaptation ever.
Mm-hmm. Before we get started, Zach already knows I started a new TV series, Supernatural.
Oh yes,
I've never watched that.
A nice brisk
127 episodes.
show.
Oh my god, is it done?
Yeah,
it's ending this year, right?
Yeah, it's by the time I get there, it'll be done.
Well, yeah, I don't know how fast you're gonna go, but probably.
Did you guys watch Action Park, by the way?
Not yet. Not yet, but I know a lot of the background on it.
That is insane. Some of the stuff they got away with at that place. I didn't even know that place existed, but holy cow.
Well, not only existed, got shut down, reopened twice.
Yeah. It's like they have they're infamously known for like making water rides and slides that like injured people. And they have one that is like a completely enclosed tube slide that comes down and then does a complete loop-the-loop like this and then comes out into the water.
A water tube slide.
And they said that people like they would get banged up in there and then come out like, you know, with injuries. But then people later on would go down and they would come out with full-on lacerations in their bodies, like just cuts. And they couldn't figure out what it was. They finally opened up the top and they realized that people had lost their teeth. From the original people lost their teeth and they got embedded in the slide. So people were going on the slide and getting cut by other people's teeth.
Not only that, like if the slide broke, they would just get pieces of like plywood and nail it into the fucking fiberglass and the nails would go through sometimes.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
And like when they were doing test runs and stuff, they would put dummies in it and like the dummies would come out with like their heads off and stuff like that. And so like, well, we need to do human trials. So the owner was like sitting at the bottom of the slide with $100 bills for the teenagers, like giving them $100 to basically be a test run.
Oh, it's insane.
Like there's so much stuff like that would just never ever exist by today's standards.
Did you guys watch Console Wars?
Not yet. I
didn't even know it was out until yesterday when someone mentioned it. I don't have CBS All Access.
I'll give you my login.
Is it good?
The documentary is great.
You have access.
Oh, do I?
Yes. It's on the Xbox account.
Oh.
Along with Hulu and DC Universe, which is ending.
Hey, you got 25,000 comics to read?
No, like they're actually getting rid of DC Universe.
No. Well, they're transforming into DC Universe Infinite, which will just be a comic subscription service.
But almost like there's just tons of subscription services on there. Like I think Crunchyroll is still on there.
Oh man, I could go back and get caught up on Bleach.
Get HBO Max on there.
But no, going back to Supernatural.
Let me get that HBO.
Yeah, I know. I need to catch up on some HBO stuff. But no, the
Fresh Prince is on HBO now.
Yeah, but
West Philadelphia.
The 8th episode of Supernatural though takes place in Rockford, Illinois.
Really?
I know this.
Yes. And I'm like, cool. I was expecting to see some Rockford like highlights or something, maybe even like a still image. No.
You see the Rockman statues with their masks on.
All right, let's get going, guys.
On rays on the playground is where I spent most of my days.
I have a really funny video of me in my classroom. We were doing narrative stories. I was doing a writing lesson on narrative stories. So I told them I had a really great story I wanted to share with them that I wrote as an example to show them how to write narrative stories. And I just quoted that. Basically, I had a piece of paper and I was like, in West Philadelphia, born and raised. On a playground is where I spent most of my days. And I just went through the whole thing. And I was like, the kids are like, you didn't write that. I was like, what are you talking about? I totally wrote that. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
Hello,
no
Rebecca.
Bleach. No Bleach.
It's okay. If you really need Bleach, I have the entire series downloaded.
Oh, she's talking about the show. Yeah, I gave up about episode 300 and something. I think is when I stopped
you're
watching.
Good. Just stop.
Yeah, after episode 256, it kind of peaked after that for me, and then I started like not remembering characters' names, and there were so many characters. They just reskinned them. Yeah.
You just need to watch. Like I said, I've got some really good anime that you can watch.
I actually want to rewatch Death Note again.
I think you need to watch Cowboy Bebop.
I have it. Is that the one? No, I'm thinking Full Metal Alchemist.
That's also great.
I have Cowboy Bebop on iTunes. I should just watch that.
Yeah. See,
I really wish you could watch iTunes on Chromecast. It's really stupid that you can't unless you have a MacBook open.
Apps were being real cunts about what they allow in their store.
I still have
never seen. I can't say the R word, but you can say the C word.
Yeah. Well, one of them is a slur.
The other one just refers to Karens.
All right.
The other one is said once per sentence on The Boys.
That is true.
Also, that word is like not even a big deal like in Europe, apparently.
No, it's not.
Right pair of cunts, yeah. Do you watch The Boys, Scott?
I don't, because I have Amazon Prime, but we do a shared thing where it's like 4 of us on one account and only the primary person gets the Amazon content.
Okay, man, I feel like that's a show you would like.
I feel like I would too. Yeah. I really like Carl Urban a lot. He's in that, right?
Yeah, he plays the most interesting character for sure.
So
maybe
y'all got any of those Amazon Prime codes?
Speaking of that, though, I've still never seen an episode of Cowboy Bebop.
I haven't either.
That feels weird for you.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never seen Trigun.
That's okay. That's all right. Timeless. Yeah.
I've maybe watched 20 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't know how you can stop.
I tried watching the original, not Brotherhood. I've heard Brotherhood is the superior.
It is, yeah.
But there's no giant mechs. That's like my thing.
I gave up hard. Speaking of giant, these are not giant mechs, but I gave up. Oh, I did not mean to send that to you, Chris. I meant to send you something else.
I am a monster.
Totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, I did not mean to send you the Google link. I meant to send you the image. So disregard the link to my school schedule.
Oh, that's a
or
good name.
Use it to your advantage.
All right, let's do this thing.
Hey, ready to fuck this dog?
Bork, bork.
Bork, bork.
Oh. Count us in, baby.
Stop.
Wait a minute.
Ice is back with
a brand new edition. Something grabs a hold of me tightly.
Will it ever stop?
Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I glow.
Nah, man, it's not the same beat as Under Pressure. Theirs is dun 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 dun. Mine is dun 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 dun. Tinks. So dumb.
Best lawsuit ever.
Such an open and shut case. I was ready.
I was ready. I was like,
yeah. Me too. I was like, fuck, we're going. All right.
Where do you want to go? He's got 3 nipples.
Counting down from 3, 2, 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I better change this up before I read it wrong. Today is the 28th, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 314 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, September 28th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and I'm joined, as always, by my friends, Zach Parkerson.
West Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
Playground's where I spend most of my days.
Also joining us, Chris Behrensmeyer.
Nerds.
How you doing, man?
It's been a couple days. But
It has been a couple days for you. It's been a couple days for a bunch of us, for sure. Yeah. I had a question. Did either of you attend community game night this past weekend?
No, unfortunately not. It was a rough night.
Yeah. Zach, did you?
It's weird to put us on blast like this.
No, it's not, because I didn't either. I slept through it.
Yeah, if I can be truthful, I
totally slept through community game night. I feel horrible. I would like to do a redo because I really want to play some Among Us. People will not stop talking about that game, and I want to see what it's all about. So maybe we need to do another one. I don't know. We said this Friday, just like an impromptu one.
Well, you do seem kind of sus.
What? I don't understand that reference. People keep saying that, and I don't know what that means. Is it suspect?
You're so sus, NGL.
Oh my goodness. Boy.
There's no way. Friday, Star Wars Squadrons, there's no way you're gonna.
No, I'm sorry.
Is that this Friday?
Yeah.
Oh man.
We's are gonna be blasting things.
Probably. Also, how are you guys on the new console generation status? Where are we at?
Both, son.
Both?
You
got both?
Still don't care.
Yeah.
Still don't care?
Still don't care.
I gotta give props to Brian Regals for helping me out with the Xbox.
Nice.
I saw another, no offense to us, but more popular poll on Twitter. I want to say it was Game Informer, where also the predominant, like 60% of the responses were, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah. It seems to be that way, although it's really hard to get one. When the Xbox thing went live,
anything will sell out when it's limited, right?
Right.
No, and I obviously I'm not poo-pooing. I'm going to get both of the consoles. It's just interesting. It feels like people are more patient than they've ever been about a console generation. It feels like.
Well, rightfully so. There's plenty to play, and
right.
There's no. I mean, we talked about it the past multiple weeks. There's nothing new to play that you have to have the new console for.
Yeah, so unless you want to pay $70 for a Demon's Souls remake.
Right. Which I'm close, but I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. Anyway, I did get both pre-ordered. However, I did get an email from Amazon saying that there's a chance that mine will not be available on release day, which is awesome. Not really, but it's. I mean, I seriously ordered that thing within 10 minutes of the sale, of it going on sale.
I know you're worried, man. I really just think it's them covering their butts.
I hope so. Because if I'm going to pay for it, I don't want to get it 3 days late.
I will say I wasn't really part of the initial wave of the PS5. The Xbox One was a nightmare.
Yeah, I feel like I had a much easier time with PS5 than I did Xbox.
So, but I will say the Xbox seemed to have more throughout the day, because it was like, oh look, more are coming, and they kept releasing more.
Mm-hmm.
And then from what I've been told from a friend of mine who was part of the second wave of the PS5, he said it was just as bad, if not worse, than the first one.
Wow. Crazy.
So,
like I said, I just want to have the option. So I can still cancel it or sell it to somebody in the community.
You want to be invited to the party, but you're not going to go.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like it. Well, I think it's time to jump into some news. Got some new trailers to talk about. A game called Seed of Life on Steam in 2021. Samurai Spirits, which was a shocker for me. Xbox Series X and S in winter of this year. And then Earth Defense Force, World Brothers, PS4, Xbox One, Switch in early 2021. And Earth Defense Force 6. We don't know what platform that's going to be on, but it will be sometime next year. Also, Amazon announced its new cloud gaming service called the Luna this week. And also, we got Microsoft is finally telling us that there is going to be an app that will allow you to stream games to an iOS device natively. And then finally, the Mass Effect trilogy is reportedly coming next year. Who wants to start?
I'll take it.
All right.
Let's talk about the Luna.
Okay.
First off, I just want to say first and foremost, Amazon, if Google couldn't get it right, what makes you think you can?
That's kind of a valid point.
$6 a month.
Well, that's the introductory price. $6 a month is like the early access, right. Try it out for us price.
But Stadia was pay us $60 for every game, and then you can stream it.
Right.
That was a boneheaded approach.
Right. So here's what we know about it so far. It's going to be available for PC, Mac, Fire TV, and iOS with an Android version planned at a later date. You can sign up for it now if you want to. There's going to be 4K and 60 frames per second for select titles. And then more than 100 games available at launch, including Resident Evil 7, Control, Panzer Dragoon, A Plague Tale Innocence, The Surge 2, Yooka-Laylee, Grid, Abzu, and Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, plus many, many more. And then there's a cool shot of the controller, which looks pretty standard. It almost feels like a combination of Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah,
no, cool. That is a straight up Switch Pro controller ripoff.
That's true.
And you know what? The Switch Pro is a hell of a controller.
It is a good controller.
First off, I have the same problem with this as I did with Google Stadia. You don't get to keep any of the games.
Right.
It's going to chew your bandwidth. So for those of you that do not have a data cap, congrats, you're going to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like this.
Well, you didn't like the Stadia either.
No, and man, that thing's thriving.
Yeah. CB was definitely dead wrong on that.
Yeah, no, it's still not thriving. But unlike Stadia, this has 0 exclusives. None.
Right now, again, it's still early access, but I feel like if there were going to be exclusives, they would be announcing it. I think Amazon could give them a run for their money. However, I think that the failure of the Stadia is going to be the biggest detractor for this being a success. People are already burnt out on that idea. And with the new console generation coming here in a month and a half, that's all people are going to be really concerned with, is playing those consoles and keeping up with their PC games. And plus, people are still playing the Switch like crazy. I just feel like there's not enough room for another big market console right now.
Yeah, I just don't care about Luna. I mean,
yeah,
just like I didn't care about Stadia, and just like PS Now has a hard time. Like, there's no reason to get anything that's not Game Pass. Right. Like, honestly, it's just you get new games on a release day, and the other services don't offer that. So it's just it's kind of silly to sign up for anything that's not Game Pass.
Now, to be fair, for us, it doesn't make sense, right? For the enthusiasts that are playing the new stuff as it comes out and have already played pretty much every game that we wanted to out of the list that I just said.
You're right. But even Game Pass, like, they have old games too. It's just bang for the buck is not. There's nothing better right now.
Plus, you don't need to buy new hardware in order to get onto Game Pass. If you have an Xbox One or a PC, then you're already set. So, yeah.
And somebody actually brought this up to me the other day with like the Google Stadia and like Luna and other possible streaming services. You have to buy a PC, which is in a lot of ways not cheaper than a console.
You don't have to buy a PC. It's available on PC, but you can play it just with your iOS device.
Are you really going to play Resident Evil 7 on your phone?
I mean, we're gonna get to the Xbox deal here in a minute, but a big draw for me is to be able to play games remotely in my own home, so I don't have to sit at my TV. I can go sit in the living room, to play something. Maybe not Resident Evil. That's a game. That's a more immersive game. But my roguelites, I'd love to play those on my phone.
I will. We'll get back to that in a second, because I've been playing. I've been streaming to my phone a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a lot more difficult than it seems.
Okay, we'll get to that. But back on Amazon, I feel like this would have had a better shot. And again, I'm speculating about a success way early. But I feel like this would have had a better shot if they tried to release this around the same time as the Stadia, because they or maybe not. Maybe they're learning from the mistakes of Stadia and are trying something different. But it doesn't seem like there's nothing that stands out to me as like I gotta have this. This just feels like a throwaway thing that I don't have a whole lot of desire to play, especially because there's no exclusives. There's no reason for me to get it.
Well, and then looking at the games available at launch, there's nothing
new.
There's nothing new. Which, if you want to bring somebody into something like this, like you better have something brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at the games on this list, almost everything is at least 6 months old.
Right. I just don't know who this is for. I feel like if you really want to play these games, you're already going to own a current generation console or going to be looking for a next generation console when they release in a couple months. Who is out there just clamoring for this?
This would have made more sense if it was rolled into Amazon Prime.
Now that's a thought. If they do the Game Pass thing and add it to it, like make a little higher tier Prime membership that's a little bit more than what you're paying now, but you also, you pay for the hardware and then you get the streaming service on top of that. That's smart. That's what they should have done.
That's what they should have done instead of but no, even at $100 a year,
mm-hmm.
This could have just as easily been added in.
Do you think who doesn't have Amazon Prime at this point though? And I'm speaking generally. That's
what I'm saying. They just throw it in there like, hey, we're now launching a streaming service of old games that no one really cares about.
See.
So if you want to play some stuff when you got some downtime and you only have your laptop or PC available,
that's a lot of R&D for just added value to an already existing service.
It's not really a lot of R&D
for making a streaming service that still nobody's gotten right.
Believe me, Jeff Bezos, this is a drop in the bucket for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
You guys ever wonder if Jeff Bezos still reads nerdy books?
Doubtful.
I think he's so
he's so detached from humanity anymore.
Has he so far removed from who he was at this point, do you think? That he just doesn't even read books anymore?
I don't know, man. I honestly didn't even know his name until people started hating on him on social media for how much money he makes and how little taxes he pays. I never knew who he was until
wake up,
recently.
Scott. Come on.
I don't care. As long as my stuff arrives on my porch on time, I'm fine.
Capitalist swine.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Zach, which story did you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess so. Mass Effect trilogy, it's just accepted as fact now, right?
It sure seems like it. The way that people are talking about it on the internet, somebody disclosed something about, it's happening, but not this year. Then they changed it. I don't know.
It's got to be one of the worst kept secrets in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I mean, I don't really care. I don't really care when we get it. I would have thought you would release it on November 7th, N7 Day.
That would make sense.
But allegedly, the first Mass Effect ain't doing it.
Which is interesting. Because does anybody really care if the first one, they just want to jump right into 2?
Right. Well, I think if you can fix up the first game and make it feel like 2, because the first game has an excellent story.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent story.
It's pretty straightforward. Just, chase the bad guy, kill the bad guy, right?
No, I mean, all the stuff with the Reapers being hinted, right? That's where the seeds are planted there. Mm-hmm. You learn about Sovereign. There are things that plenty of things to talk around. There's one hella cool twist in the first Mass Effect involving the Citadel. It's just there are a lot of things you don't want to miss out on in the first Mass Effect game, and the DLC bringing on the sky is really good. There are reasons to play Mass Effect, but I could see, it's been 13 years since that game came out. You might want to touch it up so that way the sensibilities of the 2020 gamer don't just play it and go like, well, this is garbage, because it kind of felt dated even in 2007.
Yeah, maybe just get rid of the whole Mako stuff altogether.
Well, I don't know if you could do that, but you can tighten up the shooting, because the shooting in the first game is whack.
See, now that you reminded me what year that came out, I have even less interest in Mass Effect now.
Really? Have you ever played them?
I've tried, because I was actually just reminded earlier today that Crisis came out in 2007 as well.
Yes.
And there are night and day differences between those two games.
And Assassin's Creed and BioShock. 2007 was a good year.
It really was.
Well, I want to talk about this Xbox thing for obvious reasons. Like I mentioned at the top, there is going to be an app that will allow you to stream games to an iOS device. We knew that it was a problem because with the Project xCloud, it was only going to be available on Android. CB has been messing with it as a Xbox Insider. Is that what the service is called?
Yeah.
And but this is going to be different than xCloud. xCloud is where you can stream it anywhere that you've got a Wi-Fi signal, right? So you can play this game, but it's only select games. But if I'm understanding this correctly, this is allowing you to run in whatever you were playing on your Xbox natively, as long as you were, in the same house on the same Wi-Fi. So I could be playing an Xbox game on my Xbox, and then I can switch it over to my iOS device and play it on there anywhere else in the house. Am I understanding that correctly?
Right.
Yes.
Which is a feature PlayStation's had for since PS3.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say you were wrong. You don't need Wi-Fi for xCloud. You can do it off cellular data.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere that you have a signal.
I remember working at GameStop, hanging out in the inventory room and streaming Shadow of the Colossus on PS3 to my device.
Nice.
Good times. Really happy GameStop paid me for that.
So my thing with this is I would like to have Project xCloud, but I think I like this better because I don't really have a need to play my Xbox games outside of my house. What I want to do is I want to be able to play my Xbox games anywhere in my house with any game that I have on my Xbox. So rather than be limited by the library, I can play anything, and I can sit upstairs while my wife watches America's Got Talent and play Children of Morta. That's what I want, and this is going to happen.
I think the reason why you can't get xCloud is because of the Apple Store limitations.
Right.
Because with like xCloud, like you can just buy a game through xCloud and it'll appear on your Xbox and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas because we've recently found out with the Epic Store, you can't do that on an Apple product.
Right. But I'm okay with that. That's my point is this gets me very excited because this is giving me what I wanted. If I was going to use Project xCloud, I wasn't going to be using it outside of the house that much. No, if I'm outside of the house, I'm playing on my Switch. It's that simple.
Can you stream the disc games to your phone?
I'd have to look into it more. I don't see why not. If it's running on,
if it works like PS4's remote play, as long as the disc is in the drive, it's good to go.
Yeah, I mean that's how when you play a game that's got a disc that you have to play on the disc, you're not actually running it off the disc. That's just basically verifying that you have the game there, and then it's running it off of the installed data on the hard drive.
I mean, you're just live streaming your dashboard of your phone.
Right.
I know the beta version of xCloud, you couldn't do that. Now you can, because I was actually playing around with that the other day.
All right.
So I'm actually happy that functionality has been finally added in.
But I'm excited though. I almost went online and bought one of those controller contraptions where you can attach your phone to the top of a controller. I don't know what those are called, but
just buy a pop socket, man, and you can put it on your little on your bedside or nightstand and just play with your PlayStation controller or Xbox controller.
We could just 3D print you one.
There you go. That works too.
Yeah,
just do that. I don't know. I'm excited because I'm limited to my Switch and my laptop.
Right,
I'm limited.
And you hate your Switch, right? So you want to?
No, I like my Switch, but there's sometimes where I want to be playing some Undermine or like Children of Morta. Those are great to sit on the couch instead of on my
where roguelikes be.
I don't know. Roguelikes just feel great on a handheld for some reason.
Yes,
I will openly tell you from my experience with Project xCloud. I hope your battery is good.
Yeah, well, I can plug it in while I'm doing it.
Then I hope you like holding a flaming pile of metal.
Was it get pretty warm?
Oh my God, my phone was burning the other day. I actually got a temperature warning.
Oh no. I never see that unless I'm like out in the sun. Yeah.
I was like, oh God, because I had it propped up on my nightstand. So I was just like laying in bed playing. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I shut it off, and I picked up my phone. I was like, oh my God, my phone is hot.
Crazy. I did also want to mention the Earth Defense Force games for the trailers we saw at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if you guys like the Earth Defense Force games, but the first one was just super fun to me, and
You're chasing the dragon, man. It's never going to be as good.
I know.
As, was it Earth Defense Force 2013?
2017, wasn't it?
Yeah, Earth Defense Force 2017. You're right.
2017,
which was in the far future when the game came out.
Oh man, that game.
How many of those have you played since that?
Boy, I don't know. There was Insect Armageddon, I think, was one that was just trash, and not many. So I'm part of the problem. I'm the one, but they keep making them, but the World Brother ones, I don't know about that. It looks like Minecraft characters.
Yeah, playing like 3D dot game heroes kind of look to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
It seems cute. It's just a weird franchise to voxelize.
Yeah, very strange. I don't know about that. Anywho, let's talk about Patreon. I want to remind everybody that we are an independently funded podcast, so everything that we do is paid out of pocket by us and by our Patreon subscribers. So if you'd like to help us out and maybe get some bonus content along the way, consider heading over to patreon.com/thegocast. And we've got different tiers available for you to give you different numbers of episodes. And CB, why don't you let everybody know what they can listen to right now and what's on the horizon?
Drunken Game Trivia with me and Jordan Derringer High squaring off. That's one of our more recent ones, as well as our Ghost of Tsushima with Nate Wilcox, Zach, and Spencer. As far as upcoming episodes, though, I'm still excited to hear about Scott's foray into the Tony Hawk world in a Break the Seal episode.
Yes, I'm recording that tomorrow. I actually have to play the new game still because I went over to Chad's and played a bunch of old Tony Hawk with him last weekend. And I'm looking forward to talk about that.
I just 100% of Tony Hawk 1 and 2. So nice. I'm pretty ready.
I gotta finish the new ones out still. But other than that, we also have a retro reminisce on racing games coming up, where the crew plays Burnout Paradise, Blur, and Split Second.
Yeah. Split Second's so good.
It is. That's actually recorded. That's all ready to go. And so you'll get that one pretty soon. And Christina, spoiler alert, really likes racing games now. Hated them when she was younger, and now she really likes them. She actually bought Blur. She liked it so much. So spoiler alert.
This is kind of a spoiler, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, now I just got to go play the Forza series.
Also, a little bit of a preview for next month. Actually, I think this is going to be November. Is that November we decided on, Zach?
Yes.
November. We are doing a Break the Seal on Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6, depending on which region.
You're so old.
Why? People want to know.
Every time you say, if you just say 6, everybody knows what you're saying. If you say 3, you have to specify which one.
All right. Final Fantasy 6. I'm replaying. Zach and Christina are playing for the first time, and I am really stoked to talk about that with these two.
I already want to talk about it. I'm enjoying it so much.
I've been talking with Christina about it via text, and she is just, whenever I recommend something to Christina, she loves to like give me a play-by-play as she's doing it.
Yeah.
To say like this moment is awesome, and I seriously love that. So to be able to sit down and talk about the entire thing at once for, I don't know, an hour, whatever we're going to do is going to be great. So if that sounds interesting to any of you, be sure to sign up at patreon.com. We also had a Dirty Games episode with Christina a while back that is a must listen. We have lots of positive feedback about that, about making Christina play some not so kid-friendly games in CB's basement. It was a lot of fun. And now we're going to go ahead and jump into the games that we've actually been playing. All right, Zach, what's new coming on the horizon?
All right at the top, Spelunky 2 ends its weird 2-week PS4 exclusivity period and comes to PC September 29th. Super Mario gets into the Battle Royale genre with Super Mario Bros. 35 coming to the Switch October 1st. You can go back to the prologue of Ys with Ys Origin on the Switch October 1st. The surprisingly good-looking Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is coming to PS4 and Xbox One October 2nd. Warsaw, which is a World War II strategy game that couldn't look more like Darkest Dungeon if it tried. It's going to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch October 2nd. And then the game I think all three of us are going to be playing, Star Wars Squadrons, comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC October 2nd.
Yeah, pretty much in agreement. Star Wars is a must play. It's the game I've been wanting for 20 years now, CB, since we got another.
Yeah.
Yeah, when was the last, was it X-Wing versus TIE Fighter? Or no, Rogue Squadron, Rebel Strike 3, right?
Jedi Starfighter.
Rogue Squadron 3, Rebel Strike. When was Jedi Starfighter?
That was late PS2 era.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2005-ish.
2005, 2006.
Yeah. But you're right, yeah. It was like 15 years since we've had a starfighting game.
Yeah. I will say, did you guys watch the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers 35?
It looks so cool.
It looks very cool. But did you see that not only is this like going to be a limited thing, you can only play this game until March 31st.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes, it says playable till March
Why
31st, and then they're taking it away.
in the world would they do that?
So you can bump up Nintendo online subscription numbers enough to help out your quarterly numbers.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Nintendo is so transparent with this crap.
That's true.
Yeah,
I forgot their fiscal ended in March.
If Nintendo's logo looked like the EA logo, they would be getting no end of crap for this.
Yeah. I agree.
I was just so disappointed because I'm like, this seems like something that could be awesome just permanently on Nintendo Online. Oh, and it's only available for Nintendo Online people.
Right. Well, they did that with Tetris 99 as well, right? You had to have Nintendo Online.
So I'm just like, I'm a little disappointed by this. I understand though, to play multiplayer, like you have to have online.
Right.
But
the fact that you're only making this playable until March 31st, a little sad.
That's a little sad.
It's pretty dumb.
I got one last thing I want to say too. Obviously, I want to play Star Wars Squadrons, but Crash Bandicoot 4 looks legit fun.
I can't. It's unreal how good that game looks.
Like, and I did not like Crash. I'd never liked Crash.
I fervently hate Crash Bandicoot, and I think Crash Bandicoot 4 looks awesome.
It does. It looks really good. So yeah, Star Wars all around, and maybe Crash Bandicoot 4.
I mean, it's a new campaign, man. Like, how can you not want to play Star Wars Squadrons?
I know. I've been wanting to get in X-Wing for so long. I can't wait.
Because like even the Rogue Leader games, you know, they're just like the events of the movie. Like, this is our original story about starfighters.
Mm-hmm.
Pump it into my veins, baby.
Yeah.
See, I think it's funny because you're so obsessed. Like, you're like, I finally get to get in an X-Wing. I'm like, I finally get to get into an A-Wing.
I forgot you love the A-Wings more.
I love the A-Wing.
They were more maneuverable, I will give you that, but their firepower is not as... Okay, I'm such a nerd right now.
They're stunt fighters.
I know.
Right.
I know.
The A-Wing plays a weirdly big role in Star Wars Rebels.
Does it?
They show up a lot.
One of these times, I'm going to have to go watch those shows.
I mean, the A-Wings are slick. The Y-Wing, I always thought looked cool as hell. Let's just talk about starships, guys.
Well, I mean, we can bring in the U-Wing. Actually, is because they said there's 8 different fighters in this.
Uh-huh.
It's only 4 per side, though, right?
Yeah, 4 so it's like...
Where's the B-Wing?
Gonna fly a bomber mission? That doesn't... I never like bomber missions.
Not always bombers.
Yeah, well, Y-Wings are bombers as well, though.
Yeah.
Where's
the B-Wings?
Was it the X-Wing, the A-Wing, the Y-Wing?
And the U.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, why? Like, give me the B.
We're talking about Star Wars fighters. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the games we've been playing.
Everybody knows this is a stealth Star Wars podcast.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, Scott, you've been playing Hades, right? I mean, right off the bat, this game has more hyperbole than I've seen any game this year.
Right?
Does it live up to this like unbelievable praise it's getting? I swear, I've seen game critics who've been in the business 15, 20 years saying it's one of their favorite games ever.
Wow. It hasn't struck me quite that hardcore yet, but I'm also not as far as everybody is, and that plays a part, which I'll get to in a minute. But it's interesting to me that the hype is so big for this game because it's been out in early access for quite a while, like 2 years, right? Wasn't 2018 when this game first released?
Was it the Game Awards 2018? Does that sound right?
I don't remember about the announcement, but it's crazy to me that all of a sudden everybody is talking about this game because it's finally finished, and I'm playing it on Switch instead of PC. So
that's what did it, man. If it was out of early access on PC, it would be getting praised. But the stealth launch on Switch, that got everyone talking.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's pretty good. Anyway, I had no less than 4 or 5 different members of our community message me privately saying, Scott, you need to play Hades. It's a Scott game. It's your kind of thing. You're going to like this. You need to play it. And I almost felt obligated to pick it up because everyone knows I love Undermine. I love Children of Morta. The comparisons to that were great. So I picked it up and I tried it. And do you know anything about the game, like story-wise? Have you heard?
I mean, I know it's Supergiant Games, so I assume a certain level of quality. And I know it's Greek mythology.
Yes, it's Greek mythology. You were the son of Hades, and you were inexplicably trying to escape. You're basically trying to make it to the surface. That's all it is. So it is a labyrinth of mazes, and you're working your way towards dying over and over and over again, and fighting bosses, trying to make your way through there. It works very much like Bastion in terms of that kind of like tilted isometric view where the 4 corners are on the diagonals instead of the straight up and down like a traditional Zelda game. And you start out as this character with just a simple melee weapon, and it seems very basic at the beginning. And hold on, those of you that are loving this game, it's not a basic game, but at the very beginning, it starts out, you move from room to room, you get some kind of extra boost to some stat, and you move to the next room, and you rinse, repeat, you fight a boss, you eventually die. But this game throws you in to the middle of the story, just in the middle of a run. You don't know why you're on the run. You don't know that you're escaping. You don't know the story. And you just inevitably die because you're so low powered. And then you wind up back in the throne room area, like where Hades is sitting there yelling at you. Oh, you're back again. How'd you die this time? You failed one more time. Or are you ready to give up? And that is where the game really keyed in with me for the voice acting. If you've played Bastion, which is the only other Supergiant game I've played, you know that the voice acting is stellar, right?
Yes.
It's so narrative driven. And in this game, every conversation you have with every character is voiced. There's never any just text dialogue. Every single character. And I've been playing for a couple hours, maybe 5 or 6 runs, and I have yet to hear a single duplicated line of dialogue at least that I've caught. And I'm talking about simple things like you smash a pot and he says, well, I guess we won't need those anymore. Or just ancillary lines of dialogue like that you would think you would hear over and over and over again. I've not heard it twice. There is so much dialogue in this game, which is very weird to me for a roguelike game. And I'm saying this in a positive way. Remember how much I love Children of Morta?
Yeah.
And
because they had story.
It had story, and there was much more story going on in this one. This one takes it even further because there are so many different characters that are so well acted. I want to be in the booth watching these people recording these lines of dialogue because they sound great.
Is Hades voiced by Logan Cunningham?
I don't know. I would have to look it up.
That's their boy.
I wouldn't be surprised. But the way the game works itself, like I said, you start out with a melee weapon. You eventually can purchase new weapons with these keys you find. But the real carrot on a stick in this game is getting the new upgrades. You're given new upgrades by all from different characters within the mythology. So, and you would know the names better than I do, Zach. But Poseidon is one of them. Who's the drunken one? The one that drinks all the time. The party guy.
Hermes? No,
Hermes is in there. I don't think it's Hermes, but
oh god, I was just reading some of these the other day.
So you start to learn the upgrades by recognizing the symbols, because the way the game works is when you come into a room, you have to choose which path you want to take to come into the room, and each room is designated with one of 2 symbols. It could be a gold symbol. It could be a heart symbol to give you more strength. It could be a Poseidon symbol. It could be any of these mythological character symbols. And then you choose that path. You go in the room. If you clear all the enemies in the room, then you get that reward that you chose at the beginning of the room. And then you start to learn what they are. And Zach, I know how you hate stats where it's like up like 1.3% in my agility or something like that.
Right.
It doesn't work like that in here. Everything is always like a meaty 10 to 50% upgrade of something. So everything feels impactful in the now. It's really good. And then like in true roguelite fashion, once you inevitably perish, you take the currency. There's multiple currencies. Like there's just regular gold, which you use to buy items along the way. But then there's these purple gems, like the name of what they are is escaping me right now, that you use to actually upgrade permanent stats when you get back. And they're like legit helpful. Like you feel like a completely different character every time you go. So that's really cool. And like just like in roguelikes, you just find this great combination that works, and then you feel like a god, and it's awesome. But the real draw for you, Zach, is going to be the narration. Like you really feel like you're in this underbelly of this mythological place. And normally I skip through dialogue and I just read it. I'm finding myself sitting and listening to the entire thing just because it sounds so good.
Yeah, see that's what intrigues me to the game is its storytelling and the non-repetitive dialogue that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with Other Side kind of softening me up to roguelikes.
I've been trying to soften you up to roguelikes for a while, and I thought Children of Morta was going to be the one to do it. This one will do it better for you.
Yeah.
It's deceptive in its roguelikeness because it doesn't really feel like you're playing a roguelike. It's not constantly reminding you as much as like when I'm playing Undermine or Binding of Isaac, where you're just having this constant stream of reminders of what's going on, and it never feels so vastly different where each run feels like you're playing a completely different game. It still feels like you're playing the same game, just playing it in a different way. So I really think you're going to dig it, Zach. It's a solid game.
Okay.
I will say, and this isn't necessarily a negative, but when I talked about some other roguelikes in the past, I think there's one that I mentioned I didn't like it, that it didn't give you that satisfaction early on. Like you didn't have that push forward right out the gate, like Children of Morta or Undermine, where you get those, oh, this feels great right off the bat. This game really starts to, it takes a while. It's got a slow burn before you start realizing what it's actually doing and how the systems work. Every run that I've started, it throws something new at you that I did not see coming, whether it be a new weapon that plays completely differently, whether it be another mythological character that I haven't met yet, and I get some more cool dialogue and I learn about how their stats work. And the game is just so huge for a $25 title. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface on how big this game is, and not just in a I'm going to play this for 100 hours because I like roguelites and I just want to keep playing them. It just keeps going. There's building, like how like in Assassin's Creed games, you're always building up your manor, at least in the early ones.
Yes.
That's in here. So you're doing things that may not even affect the gameplay. Like one thing I unlocked today, unlocked the ability for me to be able to see how many runs I've been on and how many times I've died and how much gold I've collected. That's something that I bought for my manor. And there's dozens of these things that I can upgrade that take a lot to upgrade. And it just keeps snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. I'm really digging it. I will say I prefer not, I've been playing Undermine for so long that I prefer not having to fight the bosses over and over again. So this is where you run through and you're fighting the exact same bosses. You know how like in some roguelikes you're playing like some random boss at the end of the dungeon,
right? And
you just whatever one you get. This one you're fighting, Isaac, right? Yeah, this one you were fighting the same exact boss, but it becomes easier because number one, you know the character's patterns, but you also are feeling the upgrades. The upgrades feel significant. So when you go fight that boss, even after you've already beat her, that first one, you come back and your upgrades just constantly feel better. So that boss starts to feel easier, which is not how I'm used to playing roguelites. And I'm I'm digging it. I'm looking forward to the moment when that first boss, who I hate because her attitude, she's got this attitude that you'll like a lot, Zach.
Oh, ooh, hello. What's her name?
It's Meg for short. It's Meg something. I can't remember what the full name is. What is it?
Megara?
It might be.
From like Hercules, the animated movie as well. She was in that.
I don't remember that. I'm not good with mythology. I don't even know which one's Greek and which one's Norse. I mean, I do now from playing God of War and all that, but it's genuinely interesting. And I'm looking forward to the moment when I'm so powered up that first boss is going to feel like a breeze, as opposed to I'm still struggling to get past her. It's still a fight. I'm looking forward to that, just feeling like a god, and I think that's intentional, and it's great.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're really making me want to play this.
I told you that Morta was the one that was going to sell you. This one's going to sell you much better. There's so much more, and not necessarily even like story. I think Morta has more interesting like side story type stuff or little ancillary things that happen that roll into the narrative. This is just this dude trying to get out of hell, right? That's what they are. Hades.
Yeah, Hades. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
He's trying to get out of hell, and that's it. But it's so entertaining, every exchange that you have, because number one, the main character, Zega, something with a Z. You would know the mythology better than I do. I was trying to look it up earlier. The guy that does that dude's voice actor, it's. I just want to sit and listen to him read the phone book. He's just got an awesome, flippant tone to his voice and everything that he says.
Is this the main character?
But he's like, yes.
Okay.
But he's like super friendly, like to everybody. But he just doesn't. He doesn't give a crap. And I don't know. He's very confident and friendly and flippant all at the same time. It's really great. The character's name is Logan Cunningham. Logan Cunningham is plays Hades. Yes.
Yeah, that's no surprise there.
And but the character that I'm playing is Zagreus.
Okay.
That's the main character, Zagreus, voiced by Darren Korb. Like I want to go look him up and see. Huh?
Darren Korb. He's the composer of all of these Supergiant games.
Yeah, and Transistor. Yeah, he's the main character in this game, and he's outstanding. He's great. So I'm, as far as recommending the game, yes, I'm recommending it. I will say that as much as I'm enjoying it, it's not grabbing me like Undermine or Morta, or I don't feel the drive to start a new run right away as much as I do as those games, but it's starting to get there. And I think a lot of that is due to the slow burn that it's got. Now that I'm starting to see how the game works, I'm getting more and more intrigued to see how it works. The weapon variety, by the way, the first time I got a ranged weapon, I was like, why in the world would I want a ranged weapon? This is ridiculous. I just want to have a melee weapon and plow through these guys because it's easy. Once I got that ranged weapon and started a run, I was like, oh, I get it. The ranged weapon has a, like, you hold it down and charge it up and release it kind of mechanism. And it does a really cool thing where if you time the release just right, it does a supercharged attack, but it's a very split second window. And once you get that timing down, it just feels great. Dashing around, holding it on the timing, getting it in beat. It's awesome. And then you learn
got an awful lot to say for a game that hasn't quite caught you yet.
I know. Well, I'm still processing it is the thing. It's like I feel like I haven't really fully absorbed exactly how this game works, and I haven't opened my eyes to everything that this game has to offer. So I'll shut up now and let you guys and move on. But
I mean, it sounds like I gotta play Hades. I don't know.
You do, man. Got to play Hades. It's pretty solid, and a lot of people are further than me and know things that I don't know yet. But the carrot on the stick is good with this one. Just to give it some time. It took me a good couple hours to. I was forcing myself to go forward that first hour. It plays really smooth, but I was drawn more by the voice acting than the gameplay. The gameplay has its hooks in me. So again, I'll stop. Hades, Supergiant Games. Lots of people are loving it. I'm shocked Zach hasn't picked it up yet.
Wow.
What about you, Zach? You been catching up on anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to briefly talk about Crisis Remastered. CB and I have been playing that. It on PS4. It's one of the worst ports I've ever played. It is unplayable. I was telling you guys a little bit on our little preamble for the show, but if you're out there considering Crisis, do not buy it on PS4. It crashes routinely. It crashed on me in the opening cutscene 3 times.
Wow.
Before it loaded past it.
And you're playing on a Pro, correct?
Yes, PS4 Pro. And the frame rate, I wouldn't dare to say the frame rate has ever hit 30. The whole time I played it, it is and past those 3 crashes, it crashes fairly often. I don't use grenades because I can't risk the explosion crashing my PS4 Pro. It is an absolute abysmal port, and I just cannot recommend it to anyone.
Now, see, I'm on the flip side. I played this on Xbox, and I think it's a wonderful port. I had it crash one time, and it's because I was doing stupid things during the final boss fight. I was trying to terrain hack a little bit so I could just sit there and shoot the final boss without being hit.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so when I glitched through the wall and the game's like, we don't know where you are, crash. I'm like, oh, well, crap. Beyond that, man, like this, it still blows my mind that this game is like, I actually played some of this game on my phone.
What?
Yeah, I streamed it from my Xbox to my phone.
What a world we live in. You're playing Crisis on a phone.
I know, like, you have no idea how much that just messes with my head, because I remember when this game first came out, and it was, if you did not have like a really, really nice PC, you did not play this game. And like, now the fact that I'm playing it on a phone just boggles my mind. And they actually did a very good job of cleaning this up. I will go as far to say as, oh man, I will go as far as to say that this remaster, some of the, like, how they've changed it, looks better than some of the games that are out on that are being currently released.
I really wish I had this experience with Crisis. I was really looking forward to play it all these years later, and I did.
Yeah, you guys had vastly different experiences with
Definitely
Crisis.
chose the wrong console for that.
Did Zach just have a massive like lag for you guys?
Yeah, sorry, Zach.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to talk over you. You were gone. So
I don't.
Can you repeat your point?
I wasn't even talking.
Well, that's really weird.
You were saying something else, and it was like,
yeah, just like caught up. So sorry about the edit point, Nate.
Okay, weird. This is not a good segment for Nate.
No.
Anyway, so it sounds like you guys had completely opposite experiences with Crisis. Zach, you didn't even like. I think you told me that this is definitely not a game for me outside of performance issues.
I was already having a rough time with it, but there's like a little bit of a section there. I was like, oh, I could see this game's appeal, but then the game, it just won't let me try to enjoy it.
How so? What do you mean?
Because it runs like absolute crap and it crashes all the time. It's just, it's not a quick boot up to get back into Crisis Remastered, man.
Oh, really?
No,
it is not a good time.
I will also say it plays very, very well. But when Zach texted me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do this review?
You want to handle a review for us on this one?"
And I immediately texted back. I was like, I was wondering when you were going to send me this message.
So transparent.
And I think the gunplay in this game is great. The grenades, I probably didn't use till about halfway through the game, and the grenades in this game are fairly useless. I will say that much. They don't do much.
It's good. I can barely find out on my console. What annoys me is it's on the Switch, for God's sake.
Yeah. Again, still mind blowing.
Yeah.
It runs on the Switch, can't run on a PS4 Pro. Crisis Remastered.
Runs on my phone better than it runs on a PS4
That's
Pro.
crazy to me.
PS4 version gets a 0 out of 10.
CB, what else you been playing, man?
So I've been trying to clear some backlog, and played a game called Observation.
Zach, didn't you play that game back in the day?
Yeah. Yes, I reviewed it for the Gaming Outsider.
Yeah.
Was it Observation or The Observer?
Oh, you know what? You're right. The Observer is what I reviewed.
Ah, yeah. See, I downloaded it thinking I was like, oh, The Observer. Zach played this. I'll give it a whirl. Observation, completely different game.
Does this game have Rutger Hauer?
No, it does not.
Oh, that's a lesser game for it.
Yes, it is. It's walking simulator in space. Beyond that, the story's okay. It's with a lot of these games anymore where they try to do sci-fi things, it just feels like the same rehash over and over and over and over and over. I want somebody to do something new with the sci-fi genre and surprise me. I'm tired of beating a dead horse.
I'm tired of AI coming to life.
Yeah.
Go figure. Happens in this game too.
Does it? I mean, it's a sci-fi game on modern consoles. Surely AI must come to life.
Yeah. And I felt like it could have been so much better, but no.
Have you got a chance to play Super Mario 3D All-Stars yet?
No.
What?
Because AJ took it from me, man.
Oh, man.
And I'm not going to crack open my second copy.
It's I'm not going to talk about it too long, but I'm up to like 40 stars on 64 and just absolutely still having a blast with it. It's so nice to be able to just pick up and play that game whenever you want on a Switch. It's so handy. Does it look the greatest? Maybe not. Although I don't have a problem with it. I really don't understand the hatred for it, but I took a break from Sunshine and Galaxy so I could go back and focus just one at a time. And it's been so long since I've played it. I played those first few levels over and over again when I was a kid, but some of the later ones I only played through the one time to get all the 120 stars. So at some points it feels like I'm relearning it and rediscovering some of these levels for the first time, but also feeling nostalgic at the same time. I love this. This is the best $60 purchase I've made in a long time. Maybe not in quality form, but just from a nostalgia standpoint. I
played it as well. In,
you did?
1996, 2002, and then I played it again in 2007.
Oh wow!
See that? Come on, that was an excellent joke.
It was.
It was.
No, but shout out to TikTok Clock, man.
I haven't got that far yet.
That's my favorite level.
Great. It's hard.
Yes,
that's a tough level for sure.
I will say I haven't played it yet, but I'm impressed with what they did over the fact that my 12-year-old son can't put it down.
Yeah. Kids don't care about graphics. Like they really don't care.
I would say based on the Switch sales, most adults don't care about graphics either.
Yeah.
Just people who listen to podcasts like this probably care.
Right. All right. We got some new Facebook members to say hello to. Michelle Meir, Vicky Calgaro, Nick Blades, Brooke Linney, Vanessa Rodville Saint, and Bo Bergman. Welcome to the group. Lots of good communication going on over there. And if you'd like to join, the link is facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. Also, our Discord is popping once again. Quite a few new members over there. I want to say hello to somebody that goes by AN ***. I really don't know how to pronounce that. Let's see what else. Skater N Exile, Sweaty OG Boss, and Rachel Elizabeth. Welcome to the Discord community. If you'd like to join over there, the link is in the show notes. And also, please drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. We do appreciate that. And also check out our written reviews. By the time this goes live, you should be able to see a written review from Alyssa on a game called Paradise Killer that she reviewed for us recently. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking out the site. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. So 2020 has been a lot to handle for countless people in our community. Many have lost loved ones, are going stir crazy, and it seems like you can't have a simple conversation without it turning into some kind of debate. So many of us have been turning to games for therapeutic relief to shut out the ugliness of the world, and we decided to take a closer look at that very thing So I want to ask you guys, before we talk about specifics, what is it about games that helps you to forget about all the craziness and negativity in the world?
For me, I can immerse myself in a world and just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I like to play a lot of games that keep my brain busy. I mean, you've seen me, like, I will play score grab games and get lost in it.
Yeah.
Just zone out. Just there's things going on around me.
So it's really just like making your mind do something else and occupying your mind with something that requires you to focus for a specific amount of time and keep you going and motivated and pushing. And do you ever like think about other stuff, or are you just like solely focused on that game?
Oh no, it's basically like partition my brain, and outside world doesn't exist unless like the kids call me or my phone. Like there's certain things that can distract me out of it, but you've like I said, you've watched me sit down and play the same game for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah, Dr. Mario once, I think.
Yeah, and not even just be phased.
Mm-hmm.
I think you even like brought me a beer while I was doing it. And I was just like, yep, things.
That sounds about right. What about you, Zach?
I mean, pretty similar to CB. It's the immersion of a new world, or especially if it's a new game, man. Like everything vanishes. Even your phone vanishes in that scenario. It's something to focus your brain on. We'll get into the games that I prefer to play shortly, but it's the ones that really demand something of me. Like a fast-paced puzzle game going for a high score, or other various things. So it's just something to pull your brain away from the world. Like doesn't give your brain a chance to think about other things, right? Like it needs so much of your attention.
That's interesting. I am on some levels a little bit opposite in that when I'm going on my day, I feel like a lot of this stuff that's going on is running through my head just because the day is busy, or I'm on social media, so I'm constantly aware of all the junk that's going on out there. And sometimes I'll sit down and play a game that is that is not at all taxing, that just kind of lets me zone out and think about everything else that I haven't had time to think about the rest of the day.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like where I can just kind of melt down and just unwind my brain and unpack everything to kind of get ready to go to sleep or to relax. It's almost like it's a preparation for relaxation, which is interesting that we have that opposite of a way to look at it.
Yeah, very, very different.
Because my mind went that way because, when I posted this on social media, I posted a picture of the game Flower, which is a game that I've never really gotten into. But as I've gotten older and gotten more stressed in my life and a lot of things just keep mounting up, that seems like a game that I want to try now, where there's not really any losing. It's just like an experience that just gets me to a Zen state of mind, so to speak.
That's interesting. I wonder when I'm playing something like Flower, or even like trying to like meditate, tried that a few times in my life or something like that. I just can't get out of my head that I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
There's so much great media to consume or fiction, that I want to experience so much of it. And like, there's just something in my brain that if I'm playing Flower or Journey or even Sky, that game company's mobile game, I just cannot help but think of like, well, yeah, hey, look, this is great. This is beautiful. I'm really appreciating what I'm seeing, but I should at least throw on a podcast or something to help get through that library, or like throw on an audiobook. Like
but isn't that backwards almost? And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying this to myself too. Like, this is a hobby. This is something fun that we do. It shouldn't feel like a chore. There's so much out there, and we're constantly requiring ourselves to consume as much as we can in as little time as possible to stay current. What happened to just sitting back and playing it for the sheer enjoyment of it, or to relax instead of, I got to get this game done. I got to get to see the credits on this one so I can review it.
I will tell you right now, that is all state of mind.
Is that what it is? We're gonna get psychological on
Because
us?
I've literally only played one game, I think, that I've reviewed for like everything that we've done that has felt like a chore, and you already know which one it is.
Was it Elix?
No, it was a cycling game.
Yeah, it was a cycling game.
Which is funny because that game should be Zen.
No, that game was so not Zen.
See, but imagine if you're listening to an audiobook, man, you would have felt like you were doing something.
Yeah.
I actually tried different things to get me through that game. My wife actually gives me crap for when I play games because we've talked about this before. Like, I will have a game playing, I will have my laptop with a movie playing, and I'll probably be listening to something else at the same time.
I can't do that much.
The best way I can describe it is my brain works like 300 squirrels all running in different directions.
That's how I feel.
So I have to find like a way to like herd them.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what to do. I feel like the older I get, I forget how to relax. I forget how to shut off my brain.
I feel like there's something about our current culture, FOMO, the fear of missing out, and the way it's so thoroughly preyed upon in marketing now. Like, you're trained to feel bad if you're not actively consuming something.
Well, but I don't even think it's even just about consuming something. It's just about a sense of accomplishment. Like, I went on vacation. We went on a cruise last summer, and just the thought of sitting out on like one of those deck chairs and just sitting there and staring at the ocean, it's just mind numbing to me. I can't do it. Like, I want to at least be like having a drink in my hand and having a conversation with somebody, interacting with people. But there are just countless people that are out there that are just straight up just sitting there enjoying the view, and I'm jealous because I just don't know how to do that anymore.
I could not do that.
Okay, so I'm not alone. Okay.
No. There's no way I could just sit on a beach and enjoy the waves. Absolutely not.
I'm glad I'm not alone. I've always thought there was something wrong with me.
I actually hate going to the beach.
Do you?
I would rather, like, my vacations are like, let's go learn something.
Is it because sand is coarse and rough and it gets everywhere?
And it gets everywhere.
No. Almost every time I've gone to Florida for vacation, I go scuba diving. I don't want to sit on a beach.
See, I'd rather do that too.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds relaxing.
Infinitely better. Yes. Weightlessness is amazing. That is the only time I will find a Zen-like experience.
I feel like that's the closest experience I'll ever get to flying. Like when you have like a dream about flying or whatever. Because even though you're underwater, but you see the ground below you, you just kind of feel like you're floating. Or I don't know. It's awesome.
I just want to channel my inner Lara Croft and swim through some wrecks.
Yeah, do some exploring.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
I will tell you the craziest thing ever scuba diving was we were in Florida at night and a thunderstorm went over as we were. So you like look up. So you're like looking up at the surface of the water and watching lightning going off, which underwater looks amazing.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
That sounds rad.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of anything that would give me like the peaceful Zen state of mind. I don't know that it could.
And I can't decide if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because some people will tell me that, you need to learn to relax and you're going to stress yourself out and it's not healthy for you. But it just doesn't seem fun to me to turn off my brain that way. It's why it takes me so long to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I can't.
Some of us thrive on stress and enjoy it. Not all stress is bad stress.
Now we're getting really psychological here.
No, it is true. Not all stress is bad stress. There is such thing as good stress. So
it's just all in moderation, right? Getting the right amounts at the right times.
Yep.
I just want to I always want to be using my brain, man. That's what it's there for.
Right. We're only using 10% of it, right? Or is that a myth? I don't even know.
Has that been debunked like 19 times?
I don't know. I'm just quoting something. I don't even know what I'm quoting. Well, let's go into the actual games that we do try to relax with. What are some of your go-to titles when you just want some peace in your life?
I'm gonna start out the top here with some listener comments. All right, first from Adam Zed. I go to SnowRunner. It makes me focus on the truck and forget about the rest of the world. Its slower pace is relaxing as well. This made me kind of think of Death Stranding.
Okay.
Which is going to be pretty. I actually did kind of find the package, as long as the ghosts weren't around, I thought Death Stranding was actually a pretty relaxing game.
See, and that's what I kind of wanted from that game. And I got turned off when I came across those spiritual creatures or whatever, when I had to like dodge them, that it became not relaxing anymore. It became a stress.
Yes, it completely ruins the mood.
Yeah.
You know what? What a great game to have something to do while you listen to a podcast.
Yeah. Do you think you could do it without listening to a podcast? No.
See, that's the thing. Like I absolutely love podcasts. I always have. Even before I had a smartphone, I had an iPod just so I could listen to podcasts.
So that I had to download everyone.
Yeah, it's so great. That's just something that I do find relaxing, is listening to a podcast and just doing something with my hands. It's a good time for me.
All right.
I like freak. I don't know what to say. Then Aaron Peterson said, Mirror's Edge or Trials. For whatever reason, the focus and attention to detail needed to play those games forces me to relax. And once you nail time trial, or specific goal, it just feels like such a good rush of adrenaline. Absolutely agreed. Like, that's the games that I like to play to relax. I like to throw on a podcast only in my right ear. I like to use my left ear to listen to the game. Okay. I'm taking people through my process.
Honestly, I'm opposite. I put it in my left ear and I keep the right ear open.
That's awesome that we have the opposite ears. And then most often I'll boot up Arkham City or Arkham Asylum or Arkham Knight and do the combat challenges, because they require, and if I get hit once, it's restart. Unacceptable. Mm-hmm. I want only perfection in my Batman. And alternatively, I'll boot up Dark Souls or Bloodborne. And I find those games incredibly relaxing. Specifically, Bloodborne has Chalice Dungeons, which is just kind of almost like a roguelike thing. It's just randomized. You get a different boss every floor. It's a little bit like Binding of Isaac and Structure, but just throw on a podcast and play those. And those bosses like demand every single, percentage of your brain power. So there's no time to think about anything else in the world. I absolutely love that.
This is so interesting to me, just how backwards you and I are on this. I mean, it's crazy. Anything with a clock on it does not sound relaxing to me at all. All that just stresses me out. I mean, I could kind of see it with like a Trials game, because it's just like you just kind of get into a rhythm, and that's when you finally get that moment of zen. But getting to that moment of zen sounds stressful as hell.
Yeah, because again, you're thinking about it the wrong way.
Maybe I just gotta get in the right state of mind.
I'm relishing. I do like Aaron says here, like, I love that rush of adrenaline. Like Mirror's Edge, I did used to do those time trials all the time. In fact, on one map on 360, I'm so proud I got in the top 100 times.
Nice.
I was pretty good. Mirror's Edge, but like, there's something about just pushing yourself to that limit that I love. Or like, I play the old 2D Sonic games a lot too, just because like it's so fun to try to, beat Green Hill Zone in under 30 seconds.
Right. I guess I can kind of see that, because mine is a little bit backwards too. But you reminded me when you said, like, if you get hit once, you just start over again.
Yeah.
And I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm the same way with pinball. Pinball is it's Zen Studios, like, right?
Shout out to Chris Baker.
Yes, exactly. Who had a birthday recently, right?
He did. I hope he listens.
But those games, if I just get in the zone, it is kind of stressful, get those drains every once in a while, but you start over and just do it again. There's just something familiar and comforting about something that is that familiar. Maybe
familiarity is a great point, because Bloodborne would not have been relaxing to me those first 15 to 20 hours, right? Mm-hmm. It's only because it is. I guess it's weird just because like that game has such a reputation, but it does almost feel like putting on a warm blanket.
Mm-hmm. CJ Moore in our chat here is talking about that Rocket League is that game for him. which is interesting because I can't. I'm super competitive and I want to be well, even though I suck at that game. But it made me think of Forza Horizon, specifically Forza Horizon 4, where you can just drive anywhere in that game and spend hours just driving and finding things without really having any purpose. Throw on some tunes or a podcast, like you said. Maybe that's what I need to try. Just free roaming in an open world like that.
Yeah, I mean, also more generally, when the rare instance where I get an open world game I want to clear out, like Ghost of Tsushima or Days Gone, that's also pretty relaxing. Just throw on a podcast, clear off the check, like you with your Ubisoft games that you love so dearly.
I was just gonna say, Assassin's Creed Rogue, I think, is the one no, not that one. 4.
It was Unity. I thought it was the one that you're like, oh my god, too much.
He was like, I'm done. I tried. I was like, I'm gonna mission. I'm gonna do this game. Nope. As soon as they entered the verticality in Unity, and I had to like go up floors inside buildings to find these things, I was like, no, that's too much work. I just don't have the patience.
That sounds like a lot.
But especially like in the Assassin's Creed ones, when you actually get on a boat and you just kind of sail to the next spot, and the sea shanties going on in your head, and it just the ocean waves and the seagulls. I mean, I won't sit and stare at waves, but having them in the background while I'm sailing that ship felt pretty cool, and I was accomplishing something, getting treasure.
Right. Yes. Gotta get that accomplishment. That's what's relaxing. Accomplishment.
Isn't that seem backwards though, that we don't feel we can't relax unless we're accomplishing something?
I mean, based on the comments, man, we're not alone. So many people use the word focus. Definitely notice that.
Interesting. CB, what about you,
man? Well, let me start off with my listener comments before I get into mine. Mostly because we think alike here. Brandon Lloyd. Man, I don't think I play peaceful games. On mobile, I get into Clash Royale, which is PvP. I need recommendations for mobile and Xbox peaceful games. And then Patrick Klein, a man after my own heart here. Does Doom count as stress relieving?
Well,
asking for a friend. Seriously, though, Picross, they just take my focus elsewhere and give me a sense of accomplishment when I beat a few puzzles.
That's a great
everybody. Yeah, but for almost anybody that knows me knows I don't play like
puzzle games,
Zen games.
Yeah.
I was actually earlier today. Just needed a break from the world, and I actually threw on some Doom.
Yeah,
and just started ripping through it.
Cathartic release.
Oh my god, I love Doom Eternal so much. But my favorite games are straight up bullet hells.
It's crazy to me that is relaxing.
Because again, it's how much I love retro games, and especially like finding that groove. Where just everything seems to be clicking in some of those, especially like Ikaruga. Like once you know that pattern, like your brain just kind of falls into like a wavelength and you just go. And to me, like it's great because then just the world seems to disappear and there's just you in the game. That's it.
I cannot tell you the last time I experienced that. I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want to do that. I want to go back to Patrick's call though with the Picross games. I love that one, and I did not think of that when I was trying to put together my list. As long as there's no timer, I hate puzzle games where you're required to like sit and look at something and figure out a puzzle, and it puts a clock on you.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Like just you've designed a game where I'm supposed to stare at it and use my brain to figure it out. Doing it quickly doesn't. There's no incentive for that to me. Just let me just sit back and relax. I need to go get a new Picross game now. There's like a whole bunch of them on Switch.
Yeah,
and they're so satisfying.
Mobile.
Are they on mobile too? I guess that makes sense.
I mean, there's a Drop 7. There's a game I definitely play to relax as well.
I did download that, by the way, after your recommendation a couple of weeks ago.
Did you play it?
I did. I cannot figure it out. It takes you a minute to wrap your head around how that game works.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, it hasn't clicked with me yet, but I forgot about it. I'm glad you reminded me because I need to give it another shot.
Yeah, I think they have a how to play in the menu somewhere.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and do it because it just is not. It hurts my brain, and hurting my brain is not going to help me relax. I need to get over that hump.
You got to
for
break your
sure.
brain open if you want to experience it the right way.
Did you ever find playing Gears Horde mode relaxing?
Yeah, actually, especially if you're playing with friends, because they're just
Yeah,
having like a good conversation, and every once in a while, you're like, "Hey, I need something over here. Help me out or pick me up."
That's the same kind of
straight up chaos.
Same kind of relaxing as going to bar with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a way. It's just a way to shoot the stuff. Shoot the poop.
Shoot the poop.
Shoot the poop.
Yeah. I just it's crazy to think that that's relaxing, but especially like if you just do you ever just like do horde on easy mode just because you don't even like you don't want the challenge, you just want to just have the fun? No? Come on.
That's the only way. That's the only way to get to level 50 routinely.
No, it's not.
I said routinely.
Get better.
Oh god. Something to get good.
All right. Well, I had a couple comments I wanted to share as well. One came from Kevin Honigford. He said, I never really thought about it this way until this topic, but I actually think that's why I love turn-based games so much. I definitely wouldn't call it relaxing by its normal definition, but the thinking involved definitely helps me wind down. It gives my mind something to focus on other than whatever's going on around me. I love being able to take my time and think of how I want to go about the situations they put me in. And I appreciated this comment, especially after playing Final Fantasy VI that I've been doing this week, which I didn't turn on there's a way that you can do that where it's just straight turn based and there's no like active time or whatever. I don't do that, but you never really need to. It just flows well enough that it's fine. But yeah, turn based games, ones where you just have as much time as you want to kind of plan something out. That's a really good call. I like that one. I like.
Yeah, I was zenning out just grinding FF6.
Yeah, sometimes just even grinding is yeah, that's a really good point. Grinding in JRPGs.
Yeah.
Just go take out some stuff. I used to do that back Final Fantasy VII back in the day.
Absolutely.
Going to 99s. Oh man. That was some
grinding.
podcast. We didn't have podcasts back then.
If you love grinding, go play some World of Warcraft.
No, I'm scared to death to go anywhere near any kind of MMO at this point.
Back then I would watch like GameSpot's talk show thing. Hotspot.
Oh, I remember Hotspot.
Yeah.
Good. Also, Christy Flores says, this is where mobile games enter my world. It all started with Candy Crush, but then it evolved. Some of my favorite games have been Monument Valley 1 and 2, Florence, Picross Tale, Gorgoa, and Night of the Full Moon. Recently, I've been playing Homescapes. It's more like a Candy Crush, but it's just one of those games that I can pick up, play for a bit, and relax, but still feel like I'm accomplishing something. And I agree with Christy. I didn't even think about mobile games when I started this topic, but that's most of where my Zen relaxing games are. I'm playing through the game 10 Million right now. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like a match 3 type game, but it's more like a sliding puzzle. And then, but you're constantly upgrading and getting better and better. That's really good. You Must Build a Boat is another good one.
That's the same developer, right?
Yes, they're both the same. They're if you have not, they're like $2 on iOS and Android, and you will play those for easily 10 or 15 hours to get through it. I've actually played through 10 Million and You Must Build a Boat a few times just because it's great.
If I can only play one, which one would I play?
I would recommend You Must Build a Boat over 10 Million if you want a more complex, like more upgradey type stuff. If you want a simpler one, go with 10 Million. It's really good. Also, she mentioned Monument Valley 1 and 2. What a great relaxing game.
Never played them.
They're like those Escher paintings, but it's like a puzzle game where you just move a character through a world, like the stairs that go in like an infinite circle. It reminds me of those paintings. Super calm, relaxing music, but it feels satisfying when you solve the puzzle. I really like that one. And lastly, Manda Hipshin says, I go back to older games like Skyrim, which I know well and feel kind of like home. Nice to explore the scenery and feel a bit nostalgic now and then until you turn around and get slapped in the face by a wandering bear. I thought that was a great comment. But Skyrim is such a good answer. I haven't touched Skyrim since I went back to replay it in a few months. But now I want to go back in there and just wander around. Like, and just, I mean, I can find stuff to do, but I can still feel accomplished, check a couple things off my list, not get into a hardcore battle. Skyrim is a great relaxing game for me. I don't know why I didn't even think about that one at first.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Did you guys have any others? I feel like we talked about our comments, but I didn't know if we got any specific ones from you guys other than your retro games, CB.
I think so when we started looking through this, I actually started going back through my achievement list on my Xbox.
Huh?
And almost every slow-paced game, I'm like 10, 20 achievement points and then just gave up.
Right?
Because like I said, my brain just can't handle that pacing. I need something faster paced. The only games that I think ever that were slower games, like that really ever caught my attention, were like Telltale games and Firewatch.
Okay.
Yeah, Firewatch is great.
But beyond that, like I need that like drive.
Something pushing you forward.
I just can't do it. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, every time I try booting up a Lego game, because a lot of people love like Lego games, is like they're just like, yay, like these are relaxing games. I can't do them. I'll boot them up and I'm like, I hate this.
Really?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons
I love Lego games.
I'm such an achievement like person that it bugs me, because I'll look through your list, Scott, and see like just Lego games like every now and then, and I just can't do them.
The Lego Marvel Superheroes. Oh man, that's such a great game. That
was the
exceptional game to 100%.
How long did it take you?
Had to be 80 hours.
That's a lot.
Those games are those Lego games do not mess around on content.
There's just always something to unlock, and
for a big old superhero nerd like me, like there's so many Easter eggs.
Lots of deep cuts of like characters from
deep cuts.
I can't remember if it was Avengers or Superheroes, but I played one of them together with AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And we got pretty far in that, and then he accidentally saved over the file.
Oh.
That's brutal.
How do you accidentally save over a file?
At the time, he was like 8.
Okay.
And he wanted to play, but start a new game for him. And I was like, okay, yeah, just use the next save slot. And he's just like, boop, saved over it. And I believe we were like 80. We had like 86% of the characters unlocked. And it's the one that just, it's this giant smorgasbord of characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, we're done with this game. Never again.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's why you hate Lego games.
Yeah,
no, because I
have PTSD.
Well, even on like the 360, I tried like Lego Indiana Jones and a few other ones. I just can't do them.
That's crazy.
Lego Marvel Superheroes is great because it came out in Marvel Phase 1, right? So like most of the characters are still their comic book versions. And you just like Star-Lord has that weird wing helmet he has in the comics.
Yeah.
And he's a mostly serious character like he was in the comics before that movie. Like it's just a different world.
It's kind of cool.
And like, Black Panther, he's got his huge like regal cape that he wore around all the time. CB knows what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
It's just it's a version of Marvel that simply doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it is definitely hard to see some of the Marvel characters now. I know Fortnite's going through their whole Marvel thing right now.
Yeah.
And they have like the newer version of Thor. And AJ's like, why does Thor look weird? And I'm like, that's how he looks in the comics now. He goes, why? Like, because comics change. Like you like they're constantly rotating.
You sat him down. You're like, well, you see, he's the Herald of Galactus right now. Okay. And they're trying to stop the Winter Black. This is tough. They'll keep up, kid. The Fortnite happens in between issues number 7 and number 8 of Thor 2020. I think, come on.
I've tried sitting him down with comics before, and his eyes just glaze over.
That's so sad.
I know it really is.
I got a weird one that I like to that helps me relax, and it's not going to make any sense. But Guitar Hero or Rock Band, playing the guitar and listen to music, especially my kind of music, loud, heavy music, is weirdly relaxing.
And it completely takes your focus.
It does. So that's one that does align with you. It takes your focus.
Yeah, I mean, I used to rush home on my lunch breaks at work to go play some Guitar Hero.
I love Guitar Hero.
It's great.
I wish we could bring it back in a good way.
I was say they tried. No one showed up.
Well, they tried to do the weird live thing, and then they put 6 buttons on the thing, which was crazy to learn, like to relearn how to play Guitar Hero.
I thought it was good. I just thought the music was not.
The live concept was really cool. Though.
Yeah, that's the no-brainer way to take it, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember when Rocksmith was a thing.
It still is a thing, I think, isn't it?
For a very small crowd.
Yeah,
it's like, here's a real guitar, learn to play. And people are like, oh, cool, I'm going to buy this. And they're like, this is way too hard.
Yeah,
let's say it sold very well when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
At least at my GameStop. It's just, then those same customers come in next week and be like, can I just get Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
I can't actually play guitar. I can feel successful with a plastic guitar, not a real one.
Yeah.
Did you have any others, Zach? Or are you tapped out?
Yeah, I talked about my Bloodborne, Dark Souls. I mean, Arkham City honestly has been my go-to game for like a decade now. Like it's
basically a rhythm game.
Exactly. Like similar to Guitar Hero. Yeah. You don't have time to think about anything else because this person's hitting you with the sword over here. This person's about to knock you out with the shield here. There is a rhythm to it, and it's great. There's a reason that I platinumed Arkham City on PS3 and PS4.
Speaking of rhythm games, I actually read that there was a little factoid tidbit the other day that the Batman Arkham series originally the combat was supposed to be rhythm based.
Well, it's not. It's not far off now.
No.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ones. Like other ones come and go.
Actually, for you, Spider-Man, just webbing around the city, man.
It did for a while, but now it's a little bit of
it's worn its welcome.
Yeah, because unlike the Arkham games where it's just the one challenge, right? You used to get in and knock out the guys and get out. Spider-Man is like you're swinging and he's using the same quips over and over again. Batman doesn't talk. That's nice. So it's just,
that's an interesting point.
It just because Haiti doesn't repeat dialogue. Spider-Man does.
For the guy that hates silent protagonists.
Right. Well,
Batman doesn't talk.
No.
I'm saying
when I'm trying to zen out on something, I don't need dialogue. I don't want dialogue. I'm trying to listen to the podcast, right? So Spider-Man's over here yapping about how much he hates drug dealers, how much he loves the cops. It's distracting.
Then just every time that you play a game with a silent protagonist, just put both earphones in.
Just ignore the dialogue.
Well, that was a fun topic. We got a lot more legs out of that than I was expecting. That was good. And thank you to everybody that wrote in on social media with some suggestions. We really do appreciate it. Next week is Community Questions Week. I feel like we haven't done one of these in a long time. Have we done one in 2 months?
Yeah.
I think
it's been a hot minute.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be asking for questions from you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. So get those questions ready. And if you really feel daring and might like to hear your voice in the show, hit us up on our phone number, which is area code 347-746-2278. Or if you'd like, 3477-GO-CAST. Leave us a voicemail on a question that you would like us to discuss on the show. And you'll get to hear it on the show and we'll answer it. So stay tuned for a post on social media. In the meantime, that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words before we get out of here?
I finally got to season 2 of The Next Generation.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Feel different?
So first of all, I like season 1 better than most people give it credit for. I still thought it was pretty good.
It's solid.
But season 2 is, I've never seen such an immediately noticeable jump in quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to do well. Some more money.
Yeah, obviously the budget increased. It looks like they redid all the sets, it feels like. And somebody learned how to move a camera around, which is super cool.
I don't think it's so much that they redid all the sets. I think it's they bought much higher quality cameras.
Yeah, and like they hired a director of photography, right? Because like they do cool shots where it zooms in on Riker's like hand fidgeting, and then it'll like go to focus on Picard in the same shot. And like, oh, that's an interesting shot, because all of season 1 is wide angle, both characters in the shot, they're talking, there's no cuts, and it's 10 minutes of that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very fixed camera.
It's very, it's fine. It's just it's such a hard pace, to stay awake always late at night. But the TNG season 2 it's wild how immediate it was. And also Pulaski over Crusher. So I'll put that out there. Medical officers. More interesting.
Cool. CB, what about you?
Well, I started a new show as well. I decided to dive headlong into Supernatural.
Wow.
Which is a nice, crisp, easy watch.
Yeah, 327 episodes so far. So let's get to it.
I was overwhelmed with Star Trek TNG having like 172.
I mean, it's got to be better than Friends.
That's a great show. You wash your mouth.
Oh, no. I didn't realize Zach was on my side on that one. That's awesome.
I've probably watched Friends all the way through 10 times.
Same here.
I absolutely love Friends. It's an incredible show.
I think that song is burned into my brain because my service doesn't let you skip the intro. So it was always like every time I heard "I'll be there for you."
I got a big old Blu-ray collector's box where it comes in like a little photo album thing. I'm all in on Friends, man. And I'll tell you what, if HBO Max, if you're listening, you add a random button to your streaming service, I will sign up. Because if I could just hit a random episode of Friends every night, my life is complete.
That's outstanding. I want that to be a thing.
Could you imagine?
Like watching, like if you just turned it on TV and whatever episode happens to be on.
Exactly, because I've seen them all so many. Like I almost don't want to watch them in order because I know the progression. Like, I just want a random hit.
Yeah, you don't need the continuity anymore. I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's cool.
See that for you with Friends, that's me with House.
Okay, yeah. Also,
I've
show.
Probably seen every episode of House at least 10 times.
I've tried to watch through that series. I just get tired of the formula earlier than I feel like I should. I don't know why.
I think
that man is my hero.
I've watched that show I think 2 or 3 times as well, House, and the series finale is one of the rare series finales that are actually pretty good.
Nice to go back to that.
I can agree with that.
It's super Sherlock Holmes, and that's it. I'm done now.
I have a music recommendation, not a new musician by any chance, but I was looking for something to listen to, and I popped up an old favorite for me. Not old, but there's a band that I like by the name of Foxy Shazam. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this band, but I absolutely love them. You guys know the song Downtown by Macklemore? Pretty popular song from a couple years ago. The guy that is the vocalist on that track for the chorus is actually the lead singer of Foxy Shazam. And I discovered this band way before he was ever, a featured artist on a Macklemore song. And I went back and was listening to the first 2 albums. The Church of Rock and Roll is one album, and the second one is self-titled. And the lead singer is very Freddie Mercury-esque in terms of high-pitched voice and energy. If you like, I'm not going to say if you like Queen, you're going to like this band, but it has that flavor to it with a little bit more crunchy guitars. I absolutely love Foxy Shazam, and they've got a great sense of humor and just fun to listen to. So check out those guys. Anyway, everybody else out listening, if you're still there, thanks for listening to The Gaming Outsider. It is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. You can check out his site at stemmagemusic.com. Also, please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. So until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.
I'm trapped in an ATM vestibule with Jill Goodacre.
I'm trapped in an ATM. Oh, he's trapped in an ATM. Such a great scene. Counting down from 3, 2, 1, 0. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5.
Gum would be perfection.
I use that line in my daily life regularly. Hey man, I pulled an extra shot of espresso. I have to throw it away. Do you want it? I'm like, espresso would be perfection.
Guys can make all the Friends references you want. I'll have no clue.
That's right, man. I'm not making them for you.
Just like The Office. No idea.
I like The Office, but I love Friends. And then Arrested Development is the greatest TV show ever. Lobster is great.
Weird. Is that the guy with one hand?
Yeah, eventually. Oh, we're blowing right past nap time, aren't we? Yeah, and then nurses like falling in love with him. That's so good. Yeah. No, I'm alive. I love you. We should be together. You're faking it, just like the last man. Oh, it's so good. What a show. Give me a lifelong obsession with Jason Bateman.
So many genuinely laugh out loud moments in that show.
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, see, if you're talking about How I Met Your Mother.
I don't really. Yeah, why don't they? Right? That can't be that hard to program.
You wouldn't think so.
Like, yeah, they got Shuffle on every music streaming service. Give me a Shuffle for Friends. Yeah, give it to me.
Man, like I'm trying to sit here and think about this. As far as like sitcoms, I seriously think that there's maybe 3 that I've watched beginning to end.
How I Met Your Mother, Seinfeld.
I've missed a few Seinfeld episodes here and there, but I've watched majority of it. That 70s show.
That 70s show.
Yeah.
I've seen every episode of that. And then
that's hard to binge, by the way.
No, it's not.
That one gets a little stale in the last couple of seasons if you watch it all like in a summer.
Oh, Parks and Rec?
I've never watched Parks and Rec. I tried.
It's the superior Office. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and the Ranch.
The Ranch. One day I'll try out the Ranch.
Dude, it's so fucking good. Oh,
I think I love sitcoms. Yeah.
Actually, correction. Letterkenny. I've watched every fucking episode.
It's a big stoner show. I've never seen an episode.
Man, I have a huge gap where I didn't say anything apparently in my audio file.
Uh-oh.
During Hades?
I think it is.
Somebody sent me a screenshot watching the live stream.
Wait, what?
We're all like on Nate's just like back in his chair, like lean back. He's just doing this.
His like beard was popping forward. And shit.
Yeah, seriously, it's so funny.
It distracted you at one point.
It's just you. It's like you're so like on the very corner of your frame. I gotta send this to you. It's really funny. Oh man. I know the way. I don't know why, but it makes me laugh. I know. The one time when Zach bumped his mic,
He shot right up.
This much.
it was like hilarious. It was like, like, whoop, gotta write that one down.
I actually find it funnier that looking at the
Did you stop the YouTube thing? All right. Well, thank you everybody that is still hanging out listening on YouTube. If there's anybody there,
you would be anymore.
Here is the explanation. I gotta find it.
Well, looking at that picture, like, because you see the other things that it's like recommended for them to watch,
and
the first thing is the Key and Peele substitute teacher.
Hey, Aaron, you done messed up.